everybody. Welcome. Hello. We're going to go ahead and get started, and everybody had the opportunity to get some food, and if you want seconds or thirds or fourths, feel free. There's plenty. First and foremost, I'm Stephen Powell. I'm the area leader for Epic Realty here in the desert. I was Agent Zero in one of the first in California when Epic opened in California 2 years ago. Now we're up to 250 agents statewide and 4,000 agents nationwide, and we're now international. We just opened Canada, and they've got other states coming online too, so a lot of exciting things. Not to go too much in depth about the company, I do have a brochure for you here in front of you, just a list of all of our benefits and little information that you can take a look at. And this is a gift, right? If you don't take any of the other things, you want this. This is a productivity hack. These are the best productivity tips and tools that have ever been put together on by authors or by internet. Eat the Frog, the Eisenhower Matrix, the Pomodoro Principle. So if you have ADD and you have trouble getting motivated and getting off Netflix, there is a tool here for you to use. Take this, steal it, implement it, analyze what you need to get productive. One of my favorites that I use all the time is the Pomodoro technique. That thing revolutionized my entire life when I learned how to use that technique. And I actually use timers for tasks and all that. So before we get into the main speaker, I do want to take the opportunity to say thank you to our vendor partners and give them an opportunity to come on up here and say a few words before we get underway, and then the rest of the time will be for our amazing speaker. So anybody want to jump in first? Gary?
Yep.
Come on down. You're the first contestant on the vendors right. Thank you.
Thank you for today. This is great. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed that lunch. Once again, I'm pitching it the lunch spot. They do a great job. Anyway, Gary Smith with Fidelity National Home Warranty, along with Kathy Lansford. You have a flyer there. Total probably 46 years of home warranty experience. We both she did 35, I did 10 with another company. We just jumped over Fidelity. They have an amazing program. I've been there for a year now, and we just came out with a new plan. It's in front of you as well. We did have a slight price increase, first time in 2 years, but a lot of the same strong coverages that we've always had. Guest casita coverage is free in the Coachella Valley. We added touchless sensor faucets, room and tub valves, a bunch of other good stuff. Our pool and spa coverage always now went up to 200, but it always includes salt water and no dollar limit on your pool heater replacements. And one last little upgrade as far as HVAC, no free on charge, zero free on charge on any sort of situations with the air conditioning, and we will cover the parts and labor on your A2L system upgrades, and that is huge. So do your due diligence on HVAC coverage because it's really light years away from our competitors. But either way, we're here for you. Our most important takeaway is our phone number. You have cards there. Put our cell number in there. Call us anytime. We're here to help you through service and all that good stuff, and I'll shut up.
Awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, so Brian, come on down. You're the next contestant on the vendors right.
Thank you, Bob Barker. Good morning, everyone. Brian Ozier from My NHD. Not all NHD companies are like when you order from an NHD company. One, you want to make sure that they disclose on all three levels of government. What does that mean? They have a city level, a county level, and a state level. We disclose on all three. The city trumps the county, and the county trumps the state, so if there is a city level disclosure, that's the one that takes precedence. Extremely important. As an example, we do include something called FAA landing zones. You guys know what that is? So if you buy a house, and people don't realize that, if you buy a house near a sheriff department, near a hospital, those are FAA landing zones. That is included in your NHD. And there was a recent lawsuit with another company. They said, I didn't know there was all this noise. I'm taking the agent and the brokerage to court. A lot of people, when they get an NHD report, they don't look through it, they just sign it. They brought to court and said, hey, there's all this helicopter noise. We want compensation. The brokerage said, hey, you used My NHD, and My NHD disclose, yes, it's in an FAA landing zone. The house was 0.6 miles away. That part of the lawsuit got dismissed. They didn't do their due diligence. They didn't read it. But the most important thing is little things like that are included in our NHD report. We also have a great app. It's called myhascheck.com. It's a website. You could use it anywhere in the field. If you go on a listing appointment, you can go to myhascheck.com, type in an address. It'll show you on the spot if a house is in a fire or flood zone. It's a big issue right now, especially with all the fires that happened. There's also some brand new fire zones that were just implemented about a month ago. Those are in our reports already. Some of the hills along Indian Wells, some of the hills along Palm Springs, they extended those fire zones about another mile. Some of the higher end developments like the Reserve, Vintage, and Bighorn that were not in fire zones are now in fire zones. But if you go to myhascheck.com, type in an address, it'll show you if it is in or out. If you or your clients have any questions about anything in an NHD report, have them call me. I'm the expert. If I can't answer the question, we have geologists on staff that could dig even deeper than I can to answer those questions. So the most important thing is use an NHD company that discloses on all levels of government and is there to protect you and your clients. So those NHD reports are there to protect the seller, protect the agent, and inform the buyer of all these potential natural hazards on that property. Does anyone have any questions? None. Good. Makes it easy. I wanted you guys to put me on the spot. But my information is right in front of you. Feel free to call me with any questions. My goal is to have you use my NHD and have a seamless, easy transaction. So thank you guys again. Have a great week and enjoy the show.
Thank you.
This is your number?
Oh, my name is Edward. That's my direct
Oh,
number.
it's right there.
Yeah, but you
Come
can call
on
the agent
around.
number too.
Phil,
Thank you, Stephen.
would you like to bring some test scopes for the
Yes, Mertiz Rodriguez, come on up.
There we go.
Thank you, Stephen, for allowing us to be here today and putting this together.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Phil with WFG, Mertiz with WFG. Real quick, in this market, in this environment, I feel like more than ever you need someone who's creative and out of the box. The old school principles still apply and they still work, but in my opinion, when you're working with someone that can blend a combination of old school principles, old school ways, and then also bring that creativity and out of the box when it comes to marketing, data, prospecting, closing deals. Probably one of my number one people that I could bring up here and share a testimony about what I've done is our featured speaker, John Reyes. So when he's called me a couple of months ago and says, Phil, can we sell and insure just a half interest on this duplex? Only one person wants to sell. Is there a way? We found a way. We closed it a couple of weeks ago. And so I love having John here because he can be a great witness for me on how I've gotten creative on closing deals that other title companies simply could not. And with that said, I'd like to pass it off to Mertiz.
Hello, everyone. My name is Martiz. I'm with WFG Escrow. We have 2 offices here in the Coachella Valley. We have one in Palm Springs and one in La Quinta. I've been an escrow officer for 2 decades, so lots of experience. You're getting a lot of experience. I'm very familiar with BIA, land lease, resale, I mean, you name it, commercial, refi, everything. So I have a great unit behind me. While I'm here speaking, I have, assistants, great escrow officer's assistant that is running my desk right now. But one thing I want to touch is if you have, I love challenging files. I love difficult files. That's for me, it's I love getting those, because we learn together. That's how we learn together. One thing about WFG and escrow is when you use WFG escrow and title, we are able to fund and record right on my desk the same day. So if you have a file, a lot of times when you use another escrow company and another title company, by the time that they sign loan docs and the loan docs gets to title, to the escrow officer has to divide it, split the docs, send it to the title company. So that takes a day, You know, sometimes they close at night. They're signing at night and that notary is not going to send the FedEx until the next day. So then the escrow is not going to get it until the following day. So that it's like 2 days. Well, with us, we get that docs from the notary. We're good. We record right on my desk. So it's a great tool that WFG have when you use both of us, escrow and title. If you have any questions in regards to addendums or how to word something on the addendum, as you know, the lenders, they could be really, really picky when it comes to addendums. So give me a call. I'll let you know exactly what to write on the addendum, so you don't get in trouble with the lenders. And I'll be able to help you with any questions or anything that you have. Give me an opportunity. I am awesome. Customer service, I am awesome. Service-wise, you have my cell phone. Your clients will have seller, buyers, lenders, loan officers, everybody. I give everybody my cell phone number. You can call me on the weekends. You can call me after hours. And I think some of you know here that you can call me and I do pick up my phone and I do text back right away. So, yes, Michael.
That deal that we had where the lady was in Japan?
Yes.
We were on the virtual notary signing from Japan.
At night.
And at 7 o'clock at night, I called her and she pulled over and answered all the questions.
Yeah, and we were doing a raw notary in Japan, and I had to pull over, and we were on the phone for like an hour and 45 minutes doing a raw notary. So yes, I do answer my phone, and it doesn't matter if it's you, your seller, your buyer, because sometimes your sellers and your buyers, they all work 8 hours, you know. So when they get home, they might have a question after hours at 7 o'clock, you know, and you might be busy. And so call your escrow officer, you know, and I'll answer my phone. I don't care. I'll answer my phone and I'll answer their questions. So use me, give me an opportunity. You won't be disappointed.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
So, this is as I mentioned, this is my 20th year in real estate, and I have 700 closed transactions in my career. I vet when we have an event and the vendors are here. I personally have experienced their service, and we have successfully completed as a team a lot of transactions, a lot of business. So every single person that came up here and talked about their product and service, 100% vetted, and I wouldn't bring them here if they weren't in the top tier of what they do. They're absolutely amazing, I think, everybody. So without further ado, I want to bring up the keynote on up. I will tell you this, again, 20 years in the business, not a lot of stuff impresses me. I've seen so many different things, heard so many different ways to do it, so much mayonnaise. And this man, when I first heard him 2 years ago, made me fill out 2 pages of notes. Okay, so get out your pen and paper. You're going to want to take notes for this man because he's cutting edge. Mr. John Reyes.
Thank you very much. All right. Good morning, everyone. So I can tell you when you're talking about picking up your phone and answering like that, that is tremendous value for sure. So here's my only ask of you today. If you feel that today was worth your time, actually we'll take it a step further. If you feel that by you just attending this session, you can close at least 1 additional deal per quarter, not per year, per quarter. I'm talking 4 deals. Sir, what would you say the average commission is on a closed transaction in this market? 15? Okay, so let's just be conservative, say 10. 10 times 4, 40,000 reasons. If you feel that you got 1 additional closing per quarter because of today's event, then definitely give the affiliate partners 5 minutes of your time, just so that way they can further reinforce their value. And you know, when Phil talks about that transaction, in 21 years, my wife actually told me, she said, you should just let this deal go because nobody's buying it. Imagine there's 2 owners and one owner wanted to sell his undivided interest. The other owner was a bit of a pain, wasn't he, Phil?
Oh, yeah.
And Phil jumped on the call, spoke to the other owner. We had so much back and forth. And when I was finally, I was thinking, I'm going to just cancel this contract, the listing. Then I got a call from the buyer, and the buyer said, I have a friend who's in real estate, but if you can make this happen, I'll work with you directly. And so thank you, Phil. I know that I give tremendous credit to my my partner in title, Phil, to get that deal done. And also, Stephen, I just appreciate you putting this together. So we'll just give a hand to Stephen for inviting us all out, putting this on, because it takes time and effort. You know, that it just doesn't happen by accident. So here's what I'm going to discuss and talk to you about today. One of the hottest topics right now in real estate is AI. Is anybody currently already using AI for their business? Okay, what are some of the things that you're doing? If you don't mind just sharing, Miss, what are you doing right now?
I use the AI from Epic on our dashboard, but I also use a lot of ChatGPT and everything to
Sweet.
create listing presentations, seller presentations, bullet points for clients,
Very nice.
outlining offers.
Okay.
And I've gotten a lot of compliments on it. They're like, wow, it's so clean and easy to read. I'm like, I didn't do it.
So if you didn't hear what she said, using it for like structure and offers and listing presentations, selling presentations, and all that. And then how about you, sir? What are you doing to use
I'm
AI?
the same emails, anytime I need to respond, or even text.
There's a new service I just saw where you can actually log in with your credentials for Gmail. And then when you log in for your emails, all your emails are already responded to by this AI technology. And then all you do is just approve to send, or you can make a modification. And as cool as that sounds, as I started to do it, I was like, it's a little weird that I'm going to give up my email credentials. So then I took a step back, and my wife was like, yeah, don't do that. If you're on Instagram, follow me, JD Reyes01. I post a lot of content with the intent of you as real estate agents seeing some of the things that I do in order to generate business. I'm not the real estate agent that's trying to burn both ends of the candle, and I'm not sitting here trying to be an agent that is putting the most numbers on the board. For me, my whole life is really about work balance. I love to work, but at the same time, I love spending time with my family. I love to travel. On Tuesday, I'm hopping on a plane. We'll be in Europe for a couple of weeks, and it's part of our MO. So I share that with you because everything that I post is done with an intent. And when I'm done here today, I will give you guys an opportunity to pick up the book, 21 Strategies. 21 Strategies. I was super enthused to put this together, but let me just give you how this all came about. When I'm speaking at real estate events, and I speak at a lot of events, I always feel like I have a bit of an unfair advantage because when I'm out speaking at these events, I meet amazing people. And so the people that you see on the screen there, these are people that I've built relationships with, have true friendships with. And then as I'm sitting there smoking a cigar with the guy in the top left corner, Michael Ferrante, who closes over 500 transactions a year, I'm sitting there and I said, Mike, how did you build the #1 team in the world for one of the largest real estate franchises? I've known you for years, and to see you go from an individual agent to now running the #1 team, how did you do it? And this is not a story of like, oh, I worked hard, because everybody works hard. I really wanted to know what were the specific key takeaways. And that's actually how we came up with the name, 21 Strategies. It's 3 key takeaways per person, so there's really 63 key takeaways. And I got what I think is like the who's who. A lot of people that represent California, that are in the state of California, but people who are from all across the country. On the bottom left corner, you actually have Jay No, so that's cool, right? From Epic on the bottom right corner. Christoph Chu, if you don't know him, he is from Coldwell Banker Beverly Hills. And he was ranked as a #1 video influencer in North America by BombBomb. He actually wrote the foreword of my book. And Christoph has been featured by New York Times, LA Times, Wall Street Journal, just on leveraging video and how he built such an amazing business. And so we'll skip through this. My claim to fame is I had the fire marshal called at the MGM Grand. That's a 2.5-hour meeting, and this was a line to get into the very next session. And this is why management was called, because they just said there's way too many people, we're crowding here, and this is not okay. So that's fun. That's cool. Okay, now let's get into it. So how many of you would agree with me that our real estate industry is just one that's been slow to evolve over the last 10 to 20 years? You know, it's mind-blowing to me because I've been doing these trainings for about 20 years. I'm a 21-year real estate veteran myself. So I'm still out there helping clients buy and sell. And there's been so much pushback, and I really believe that it was kind of like the old way of doing things where certain brokers were just like, nah, this technology, it's not going to make a difference. Look at Mike Ferry. Mike Ferry said there will be a cold day in hell before I have a video on YouTube. And you know now Mike Ferry's all over YouTube. And it really just has to do with consumer sentiment. How are people responding? You know, my dad's 78 years old, and I was speaking at an event. I was leaving for a couple days, and my dad says, I'm gonna flush out my water heater. I said, Dad, you don't know how to flush out your water heater. Why are you going to do that? He said, well, I called the plumber and I don't want to pay him what they're asking. So I'm going to flush out my own water heater. I come back from the event a couple days later. What did my dad do? He flushed out his water heater. How do you think he learned how to do it?
YouTube.
Watching videos on YouTube. That's just the world we live in. If my dad's learning how to flush his water heater on YouTube, how are we taking advantage of it as real estate professionals to build our business? See, because this is a good case in point. Before I even get into the here's how, I really want to emphasize on the why we need to do it. Because as I do these events, so many agents will get excited about leveraging tech, and then when they walk out, they just don't do it. Blockbuster is what we don't want to be like. Blockbuster at one time, they were not one of the best. They were the most dominant video store in the world. Thousands of stores, generating at their height $6 billion a year in revenue, renting out movies. It's crazy, $6 billion. And 20 years ago, they had an opportunity to meet with the founder of Netflix, and the founder flew on out to the headquarters of Blockbuster, and he said, buy us for 50 million bucks, and here's what you get. This is not a Blockbuster Netflix merger, but you own the technology, pretty much you own the team, we all come and work for you, you run the stores, we run the online, and Blockbuster will be the biggest and the best ever. There's a fascinating article in the Inc. magazine, and in the Inc. magazine, the founder of Netflix says two things. When I went there and I met with the CEO of Blockbuster, just to put things into perspective, his shoes that he was wearing cost more than the car that I was driving at the time. And he says he also did something funny with his hands and his face like this, like covering his mouth. And he says, I realized what he was doing. He was holding himself back from laughing at the fact that we proposed a $50 million buyout price. Fast forward, you all know what happened. Blockbuster has since filed bankruptcy. And in October, I was flying out to Traverse City, Michigan when I first put this deck together. And I said, Netflix is approaching $300 million. This slide is actually a few weeks old because if you check out the market cap today, Netflix is now valued at over $500 billion. Phil knows me well, and I think you know me well enough, Phil, to know that the business that I generate, I'm very strategic with my approach. I don't want to have to work harder than I need to. I want people to pick up the phone and give me a call if they're thinking about buying or selling real estate. I want to establish that top of mind awareness amongst my sphere of influence. If I'm going to go on out and prospect, I want to be able to have some tools that just convert a little bit better. So let me just share with you the one thing that I think you need to have as a real estate professional. Doesn't matter if you're escrow, title, lender, you need a 30 to 60 second video that introduces you and your value to prospects. I'll share mine with you, and then I'll explain to you how I leveraged it on just some recent business for a deal that will be closing on the 23rd.
Chances are you already know a real estate agent, whether that be a friend or even a close family member. But here's the thing, I would like the opportunity to introduce myself and my team to you. My name is John Reyes and I'm with Move Fast, Move Now, and we are a team that services the Southern California real estate market. So let me give you 3 reasons as to why you should pick up the phone and give us a call the next time you're looking to buy or sell real estate. Number 1, our use of technology. We leverage the latest in digital technology and social media marketing in order to enhance the overall buying and selling experience for each and every one of our clients. Number 2, communication. The last thing you want to do is to pick up the phone, reach out to your agent, and not have anybody else on the other end of the line. We don't work that way. And then number 3 is education. We believe firmly that the more that you know, the more you're empowered to make the right decision for you and your family. So if you're thinking about buying or selling real estate or doing both, pick up the phone and reach out to me today. Again, John Reyes, Move Fast, Move Now. I do look forward to hearing from you.
So I was just talking with Steve, and I was sharing with him a story about how we're going back and forth just negotiating some repairs for a property that I'm selling. But here's how it came about. I got a call on a Sunday evening by this lady named Lay. And Lay says, hey John, my name is Lay. My husband, Ray, is also on the line. So Ray introduces himself. And she says, we were referred to you. We are looking to sell our home in North Upland. And my dad used to be in the business. He's no longer in the industry anymore, but my dad said we should interview multiple realtors. So if you're interested, you would be one of 4. And so I was very excited about the opportunity, and I love it when my clients call me and I have to interview against 3 other realtors. I mean, who doesn't love that? And so I was like, okay, great. So when are you guys looking to meet? She says, we're looking to meet tomorrow. The problem is I had a flight scheduled the very next day from LAX to New Jersey to speak for the #1 real estate office in the entire state. And I had an audience of 250 people there. Obviously I couldn't miss that. So I shared with her that I have an appointment that is going to take me out of the area. Is there any way we can meet tonight? She says, no, John, we're not in the area. I was like, not a problem. I'll drive on out to you. She says, my husband's working, I'm working, we're not going to be together till 10:30 this evening, and we really want to just focus on doing interviews tomorrow. So you would all agree that I'm at a big disadvantage if I can't physically be there and conduct my presentation when everybody else is. So I said, let me ask you this, Lay and Ray, have you guys sold a home before? And then she says, no, this is our very first one. I said, okay, as a first-time seller, do you have any pressing questions or maybe anything that's been keeping you up late in the middle of the night? And before I could even finish the word night, she interjects and she says, exposure. What are you going to do to get the exposure for our home? So what I learned is that they had the home on the market with another realtor. They went under contract right away above asking. They had a long extended escrow. The realtor did not make the buyer either perform or cancel the contract. So now, once they canceled the contract, it had been sitting. Nobody was calling on the property anymore. So that's what I learned. So now, what I told her was this. I emphasized the importance of digital technology, video, all that. But then I said, Lay, the number that you just called me from, is this your cell phone number? She says, yes, it is. I said, perfect. Here's what I'd like to do. I would like to shoot over a text to both you and Ray, and I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to send you a video that gives me an opportunity to introduce myself to you. This is going to be a chance to put a face to a name. Second, I'm going to send you a video from somebody who's already worked with me, because it's one thing for us to talk about how great we are as real estate professionals. It's another thing for somebody who's already worked with us to validate it on our behalf. And to watch these videos, it should take you about 4 minutes or less. So if I don't hear from you in the next 10 minutes, I'll call you. Very strategic that I did that, because then what I did is I made them know that they had to watch those videos right away. They couldn't just sit on them, right? 4 minutes later, my phone rings. And Lay says to me, we will not sign with anybody until we meet with you. I just sent this video that I just shared with you, and on the bottom right corner, that's my client, Tom. I put a camera in front of Tom and I asked him a series of questions. And then I took Tom's responses and I consolidated it into a 1-minute testimonial. And I end it by saying, Tom, what would you share? What would you say to somebody who's thinking about selling and they've yet to choose us? And it's a strong testimonial. He closes it by saying, if you're going to sell your home, I mean, you have to work with John and Margie, which is perfect. And it's a great send-off. That's actually my video in my listing presentation as well. It's the last video right before I have a slide that just says questions. And then usually the question is, what do we need to do to move forward? Okay, so now I can't talk just about AI without emphasizing the importance of video. Because raise your hands right now if you're already using AI, and raise your hands proudly because, I mean, that's something to be said. Okay, so more than half the audience. Now raise your hand again if you're using AI and you're also leveraging video consistently in your business. Okay, so a handful of you. It was right down that line, that's funny. So 4 people out of the group that initially raised their hands. So now I look at that as a tremendous opportunity, an opportunity for you. And we can leverage ChatGPT, and when I say ChatGPT, do know this. It is gonna be any AI that you can have a back and forth with. For example, there's one that I use called Grok, G-R-O-K. That is the X version. ChatGPT, there's Gemini, which is the Google version, but the framework is the same. So for the sake of today's example, we'll just talk about ChatGPT. Now this is where you type in a prompt, or this is where you give it direction. Now I was speaking at the #1 office in the state of Colorado, and you always have these people, maybe every 3 to 4 months I get one of them, but I had that broker that's standing in the back. He's too cool to sit down like everybody else, and he looks really sharp, 3-piece suit on and everything. And then he says, oh, I don't like ChatGPT because ChatGPT's basic. And that's what I told him. I looked right at him. I said, ChatGPT is not basic. You're basic. You give basic information, you're going to get basic responses. The more that you give it, the more you're going to get. So this is my favorite. Feel free to take a photo of this. This is my favorite prompt right here. This prompt crushes because I'm going to leverage this prompt so that way we can create content. I want you to do customer research for me. So ChatGPT is going to tell us all that we want and need to know about our clients. Tell me 10 frustrations, 10 desires, 10 dreams, and 10 fears that my audience experiences related to homeowners who want to sell their home. Format the output of the 10 frustrations, 10 desires, 10 dreams, and 10 fears in a table. The x-axis should be numbered 1 through 10. The y-axis should include frustrations, desires, dreams, and fears. The last couple sentences are a little nerdy, and if you don't understand it, it's totally fine. You don't need to. If you give this prompt to ChatGPT, you could even just take a photo and upload it, then it's going to give you something like this. Look at the table is going to be made for us real time. ChatGPT is actually creating this table for us on the spot. And now we're going to take this content, we're going to take this response, and then we're going to use it to create some video content to connect with more buyers and sellers. And so for the sake of time, I'll skip to the next slide. You'll see what are some frustrations of sellers. Uncertainty about how much their home is really worth. Needing too many repairs or updates before selling. Not knowing who to trust in the real estate process. Feeling overwhelmed by the paperwork and the steps. How about desires? Get top dollar for their home. That's what every seller wants. A stress-free, smooth selling process. Working with an experienced, knowledgeable agent. How about clear guidance through every step of the process? What are some dreams? Selling quickly and for more than the asking price. Getting multiple offers that drive that price up. How about finding the perfect buyer who loves their home, or selling to a buyer who's going to appreciate their home? Now, what are some fears? Selling for less than what the home is worth, home sitting on the market with no interest, choosing the wrong agent, or getting poor advice, or legal issues or disclosures coming back to bite them. So when you were talking about the natural hazard disclosure and the noise nuisance, good example, right? So now what we're gonna do is this. I've had realtors that will sit in the audience and say, and not like in a rude way, but they wanna make a point. What is AI gonna know that I don't already know about my clients? John, I've been in the business 30, 40 years. It's not about you just knowing, it's really about clarity. Who is able to convey the message more precisely to our target market, which is owners who wanna sell their home. So now I'm gonna come on over to ChatGPT and I'm gonna say, great, thank you. Can you now give me 10 hooks that I can use for my video marketing? Keep in mind that I'm a realtor who's looking to connect with more sellers. So 2 things here. I'm complimenting ChatGPT. Do we need to do that? You know, I'm the same guy that will tip my dealer when I'm playing cards, hoping that it's gonna play in my favor. The other thing is, did you notice that I said I am a realtor who's looking to connect with more sellers? I'm identifying my role, but I'm also identifying my goal. Now the thing about this is this. If you create a ChatGPT account and you log in, the more that you use it, the more it's going to learn about you. So I don't always say I'm a realtor. I'm just using this as an example because I don't know where you're at in your relationship with ChatGPT. Okay, so here are 10 video hooks. Thinking about selling but worried about leaving money on the table. Let me show you how to price your home to attract serious buyers without undercutting yourself. So the idea would be this. That's the hook. And then I just record a 20 to 30 second video based off of the hook that it gives me. So I can grab my tripod, say this was my tripod, I could put my phone there, I could hit the record button, and then I could just say, thinking about selling, but worried about leaving money on the table. Let me show you how to price your home to attract serious buyers without undercutting yourself. Pricing your home is one of the most important things that you'll do when selling real estate. If you price it too high, you could scare away qualified would-be buyers. And if you price too low, you may not get the price that you're looking for. If you're thinking about selling your home, I'd love the opportunity to talk to you. Give me a call. How many of you would feel comfortable to just be able to have a hook and then just be able to talk about that topic for 20 seconds? Most of you? Good. Anybody not feel comfortable with that? Anybody think, you know what, I don't want to have to think, just give me the answers to the test. Because look, if that's you, then ChatGPT can do that. We come on over now and we tell ChatGPT this. Excellent. Now, please provide me a 75-word blog that I could read in first person. And let's start off with a hook. And remember, I am an agent who's looking to connect with more sellers. And what you're going to see on the screen here is that ChatGPT is going to give us 10 scripts that we could just copy, record, promote. Let me read one of the scripts to you just so that way you could tell me if you would feel confident and comfortable posting this on your social media account. Thinking about selling but worried about leaving money on the table. Let me show you how to price your home to attract serious buyers without undercutting yourself. Pricing your home correctly is one of the most important decisions you'll make. Go too high and buyers stay away. Too low and you're leaving hard-earned equity behind. I help my clients find that sweet spot backed by data, market insight, and experience so you can feel confident that you're getting top dollar without scaring away potential buyers. If you're curious about what your home could sell for, let's talk. Okay, so now let's put this into perspective. I'm watching reruns of Breaking Bad on a Sunday evening. I've already watched Breaking Bad 3 times, but it's one of those shows that I can pretty much binge on at any time. And as I'm watching Breaking Bad, and because I'm cheap, I don't pay Netflix the premium price. I pay the $8 a month, so I have commercials. So now as I have these commercials, I grab my cell phone. I already pay $1,000 for my cell phone, right? I already paid the $1,000, the investment. I might as well use it. So I go on to ChatGPT. I ask for a tip, a market update. During the commercials, I grab my phone and I say, if you're watching this video, it's because you and I had a conversation about buying a home. And then I shared that tip that ChatGPT gave me. And then I closed it by saying, if you're still in the market, we should talk. So I never said, hey Jim, hey Steven, hey Phil. I didn't do that. I just did one general video, and then I go to my cell phone, I type in buyer prospect, and that's how I have my buyers, right? So when I type in buyer prospect, I see all these buyer prospects, people that never bought with me, and then I just went through and I texted 20 some of them. Out of the 20 people that I texted, one person responds. When she responded, I called her right away. And when I called this client, she's whispering on the line, on the phone. Now the reason she's whispering is because she's in the same room as her husband. They're both police officers. He works one shift, like a night shift. She works a day shift. So she's whispering on the phone. And she said, it's so funny that you reached out. We were just talking about buying a home. So now I scheduled my call on Monday. Now I do my phone call, her and the husband. And on Sunday, we go to the new build. They sent me 2 new builds. Fortunately for me, it was one builder. It's one sales office. It's one sales rep. Just 2 different communities. So I took them to the new build on Sunday. We signed them in. We did a 30-day escrow. Property was already built. Solar was included in their price, no add-on. And the builder was offering a $7,000 credit for closing costs. And they also gave them a 4.99% interest rate. I'm a lender. And so the cost on that would be like $20,000 to buy the rate that low. 5.5% conventional. So that's pretty dang solid, right? Because my clients are officers, they're heroes, the builder gave an additional $2K. So my client's ecstatic, and because of the commercials, I say the commercials because that's when I did it, I was able to get paid $750 plus. It was a final sales price, 2 points. So I got a $15,000 commission check that came my way. So now, as I'm at the builder and then my client leaves, I have my $20 tripod that I bought from Amazon. I took my cell phone, I put my phone on the tripod, I stood right by one of the builder's signs, because remember there's 2 communities, right? I just had the camera pointing to capture one of the signs. I hit record and I said, my client just locked in a 4.99% 30-year fixed FHA home loan on a brand new property in Jurupa Valley. And in addition to that, the builder's offering a $7,000 credit for their closing costs, but because they're heroes, they got an additional $2,000. If you're in the market to buy, we should talk. Now, how long did it take for me to record that video? 25 seconds? Now, here's what I did. I walked into my car, I opened up the app called Captions, I upload the video to Captions, I already recorded it, and Captions has AI technology to do a few things. Number one, with one tap, I enhance my audio to make it sound as if I recorded with a microphone. The second thing is this, there's AI technology where you can add music. Now, a lot of services add music, but the AI technology, you type in what you want. So like business energetic, business fun, or they'll give you suggestions. I get a little tune to throw it in the background. It adds captions directly on my video. So that time invested to do that editing took less than 3 minutes. So what was my total investment of my time? 5 minutes? So now I post that on my story. It's not even on my reel. It's not going to be there permanently. That video will be there for 24 hours and it's gone. One of my past clients watches the video. One of my past clients sends me a message. I get on the phone with her. She's also a police officer. She bought her first home when she was 23, condo on her own. 2 years later, now she's got married to another police officer. So now we have 2 incomes. She says, John, we'd like to learn more about this. I take them to the new build. A couple weeks later, they don't get a 30-day escrow. We do a 65-day escrow. In the sales office, my client says, so John, I have to sell my condo, right? And I said, well, actually you don't. I know what your income is between the 2 of you, because remember, I'm a lender, right? I know what their income is. You really don't need to do it. Let me explain to you the pros and cons of you keeping it. It's in the city of Ontario. The city of Ontario, we're expected to double our population size supposedly in the next 10 years. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. The average single-family residence is supposed to be $1 million plus. That's the projection for Ontario. We have a $100 million stadium that's being built for the Quakes, right? So now we're taking the Quakes to Ontario from Rancho Cucamonga. We're no longer under the thumb of LAX, our airport. That's opened up a world of opportunity. We have the largest Amazon distribution center. I'm telling her all these things, right? So just take it into consideration. She says, John, thank you so much for telling me. I said, an average realtor would have said, yes, you need to sell because they want a new listing. Fast forward, she says, we want to keep the home. Perfect. And then when they close on their new build, they call me and say, we talked about it. We don't want to be landlords. We don't want to be investors. We just want our new home. Pretty much, they don't want to be real estate owners other than their single family residence, which is totally fine. They have 2 retirements coming their way. They don't need to be. I believe in the concept so much, I ended up buying their property. So now I have a fully furnished rental that we just put on the market. If any of you have somebody who's looking for a beautiful, gorgeous condo in Ontario, then you can find it online. So I don't even think I shared that one with you yet, Phil. Okay, so captions, how much does it cost? It's $9.99 a month. Now, when I'm at my open house, remember I told you Lay? Okay, and I told you that Lay said, I won't sign with anybody until we meet with you. She did her 3 interviews. I called her on Monday when I was flying out because I want to make sure she remembers me. And I just said, if you feel inclined to sign with somebody, don't do it until you at least talk to me. And she's like, don't worry, John, we're not signing with anybody. So now Tuesday I do my training in front of 200 plus agents. And then I go on out to the deck because we're at a golf course. I have my iPad and I'm doing a Zoom listing presentation with Lay and Ray, just to put things into perspective so that way we understand the world we live in. Lay's at home, she has her arm around her 4-year-old daughter, and her 4-year-old daughter is doing what kids do. She's being loud, making noise, touching the screen, and then Ray's actually at work, and the lights are dim, you can see he's behind a computer, and he has one earbud in his ear, and he's not supposed to be on a Zoom, so he actually says, hey John. So I do my listing presentation, and then Lay starts to chuckle afterwards, and she says, John, I just want you to know, we knew we wanted to work with you before you even did this presentation. Send us over the contract. The reason is because when she clicked on my videos, she went to my YouTube channel and then she saw how we market houses. So I gave her the whole show, but she already knew exactly what she was going to get. She saw other client testimonial videos. She saw videos of me educating people about the buying and selling process. So I established my authority even more for her. And so that really helped us out. So now I take Lay's listing, Lay and Ray's listing in North Upland. We sold it, but I had a call from a buyer. She says, I'd like to see your home. Is there any possible way I could see this property in the next 15 to 20 minutes? My wife and I are literally pulling into the gym. We're at the stoplight. We're going to make a left. We're in the gym parking lot. I look at my wife, and my wife just shakes her head like this because the lady said, is there any way I could see it in 15 to 20 minutes? And my wife is like, no, we're here at the gym. And then the buyer says, and I have a listing to sell in Claremont. And so my wife is like, okay, let's go. So that buyer, she was smart. She knew how to dangle that carrot to get my attention. She didn't end up buying Lay's house, but I did end up taking her listing the very next day. And we helped her buy her replacement property in North Upland. And we had sold her property first weekend. Then I'm speaking as a keynote speaker for the Colorado Association of Realtors Conference. While I'm out there, I get a call from an owner in the community. He says, I can't believe that you sold my neighbor's house so quickly. My wife and I are thoroughly impressed. We love the marketing that you did, and we'd like to talk to you about selling our property. We have a tenant. We're gonna, as soon as they leave, we'll call you on over. So I ended up getting his listing, and that's the deal that I'm doing my final negotiations in order to sell. So now I'm at the property. I use ChatGPT. I'm using my $20 my $20 tripod and using the Captions app to create this video here.
Thinking about selling, but worried about leaving money on the table? Let me show you how to price your home to attract serious buyers without undercutting yourself. Now, pricing your home correctly is one of the most important decisions you'll make when selling your property. Go too high and buyers stay away. Go too low and you're leaving hard-earned equity behind. I help my clients find that sweet spot backed by data, market insight, and experience. So you'll feel confident that you're getting top dollar without scaring away potential buyers. If you're curious about what your home could sell for, let's talk.
So now here's the idea. We as real estate professionals, often we make the excuse of, oh, I don't have time as to why we don't do something. I have a friend of mine, super high producer, came over for my birthday. We were at a brewery a couple years ago, and for some reason, he walks up to me. He's like, "Hey, John, you've been working out?" And I was like, "Nah, I've been so busy." And he's like, "Do yourself a favor and don't say that you're too busy, but rather say that you choose to not make it a priority." And then he just walked away. Needless to say, I never invited him back to my birthday. But the point is that it's easy for us to say like, "Oh, we're busy." We just need to be efficient. So I do my videos on the first and the third Friday of every month. I grab my tripod. You see my shirts? This is so that way I don't have to overthink it, right? I notice you have a very kind of similar thing too, the way you dress, or at least the times I've seen you. It's consistent.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Because then we don't have to overthink it. I know for the ladies, maybe it might not be so easy, but I just grab my tripod and then I'll record 3 videos, like in my office. Then I'll go to my kitchen. I'll do 3 videos, maybe take it outside, 3 videos. So at least I'm creating the content. I go through, I edit them, and then I have them on my device. So that way I can then share them over the next week or 2. So it's not like I'm recording a video individually and then sharing. I'm just being efficient so that way it's already here in my phone. Now, did you notice when I'm reading, I'm actually reading the script there. So follow me on this. I take the script from ChatGPT. I already showed you how to get them. I open up captions. There's a function so that way you can paste the script. And so now you're reading it right off the teleprompter, but you couldn't tell that I was reading, right? Here's why. Because there's an AI technology built into the app that corrects my eyes. The left side is me reading. The right side is AI technology making it look like I'm looking right at the camera. Let's do that one more time. The left side looks like I might have had a little too much fun last night. The right side looks like I'm ready for business. This is all included with your $9.99 per month fee. So the reason that I promote the heck out of this app is because when they launch new services, it's usually already included in the cost. I say usually because most of them are, but they do have some other licenses in order for them to pretty much like edit your videos for you. That costs $300 a year. I paid the $300 a year. I don't want to overcomplicate it, but you can buy a license where you just upload the video. It takes your words and they'll throw in visuals specific to your words. So if you say anything about real estate, money, finances, it will show those types of things in the video. It's actually really cool. And then it also gives you an opportunity to have your own AI twin. So that way, if you don't want to record videos, you don't even have to. Now, a couple more things here that I'll show you, and then I'll wrap up this. I know there's a lot of users on ChatGPT, so what I did is just to get a better understanding. For example, we've had changes with our contracts recently, right, that are going to be coming our way. So I was on a call, and I recorded the call. I took the transcript or the audio file, I uploaded it to an AI called otter.ai, OTTER.ai, and then it gave me the transcript where I could copy. I threw it into ChatGPT, and I asked for a summary of the changes that are coming our way. So then it gave me a very concise breakdown. And it's mind-blowing to me the way it works, because then I took that text that it gave me, and again, I only have a limited time with you, but if we were to sit here and we could talk about this for hours. I took that text, opened up a website called Gamma, GAMMA.app, and Gamma's free. So I took Gamma, I upload the text, and then I actually created a slide deck. And the slide deck was created automatically for me. It was AI that created the deck for me. So again, it's just efficiency, right? It's easy to get kind of lost with these tools and resources, but let me just show you this on ChatGPT. Have any of you ever had a client that doesn't like realtors? One of those angry clients, right? I got a lead, an online lead. This guy requested to see a property. The lead came in at 8:32 p.m. I responded at 8:32 p.m. I was so impressed by my response time that I pulled over. You know, you drag your response so you can timestamp it. I want to see the time where he sent it and when I responded. And I'm thinking, man, my client's probably singing praises like, wow, this realtor responded so dang quickly. He requested to see a property on Friday. I responded back and said, I will work on coordinating the showing for you on Friday. He responds back, why would you say Friday? And I said, per your request, it's noted for Friday, but if you'd like another day, not a problem. He responds back in all capitals, I did not say Friday, 10 exclamation points. So I took a screenshot of his response, and I got my yellow pen and I circled where he put Friday. I circled it 5 times, and then I sent it back to him and I said, maybe you should find another real estate agent to work with. Fast forward, we end up showing him the home. When we showed him the home, I also learned that he has a $1.2 million house to sell in Diamond Bar. So then I was like, hey, about the other night. Fortunately, he gave us an opportunity to come on out and to pitch him. He knew I was at his home because I texted him, pulling up. As I pulled up, you have to walk up the driveway, then you have to walk up steps to get to his home. So he stands out there like this, and he's just looking at me. And he says, John, I want you to know something. You're very privileged to be here today. And I said, you're right, I am privileged to be here today, and I'm very excited about the opportunity. John, let me ask you something. How many homes have you sold in Diamond Bar? And that's what I said. Nice meeting you guys. I said to him, thank you. They got a listing presentation. So I told him, I said, I've not sold any homes in the city of Diamond Bar. But again, very excited about the opportunity to do so. The one thing that I can share with you is this, is that the locality of your real estate agent does not matter like it once did. I already knew what he was going to say. Everybody says it when I tell them this. He says, what do you mean? And I said, by me doing my homework, by me doing my online research, I can learn more about your area, learn more about your community than people that have grown up here for the last 20 plus years. Here's how you do it. If you ever sell a property, you can go to ChatGPT. I am selling this home, or I am meeting with the owner. I don't know much about the city. What makes this city desirable to homeowners? And they'll give you some really good insight. What other information should I know? Tell me about the local amenities. What do the locals do? And then ChatGPT will give you some really good information. So now I feel way more equipped when I'm going on out, especially if I'm selling in an area that I'm not too familiar with. So now in this case, what I did was this. I already prepped. I have the address, the bedrooms, the bathroom count, square footage, all the stuff that you pull from a property profile report. And then what I needed to do was to add the details once I walk into the house. For example, the vaulted ceilings or the large kitchen with stainless steel appliances. So as I'm sitting across from this client, I'm typing these notes out on my iPad. It's the husband here, the wife here after he gave me the tour. And then this is where the husband goes on to tell me, he says, John, I want you to know this as well. I'm a kind of guy that uses big words when I speak, big words like superfluous. So when I say something that you don't understand, you let me know and I'll clarify it for you. The whole time he's wanting to establish himself here and we're here. That's when I learned that he does not like real estate agents. He thinks we're all a bunch of blood-sucking vampires is what he thinks. And I asked him, I said, did you have a bad experience with an agent in the past? And he says, no, it's just what I read and what I heard. What I did then is this. I went over to ChatGPT while I'm sitting across from him, and I told ChatGPT this. I need a new property description. Use big words. And then all I did was copy and paste the details that I had already typed out. ChatGPT went to work, gave me a property description, and right in front of the client, I just read the first 2 paragraphs. Nestled within a tranquil cul-de-sac, this distinguished residence epitomizes elevated suburban living, boasting 3 spacious bedrooms, 2 refined bathrooms, and 2,000 square feet of thoughtfully designed interior. This home rests on an expansive 10,000 square foot lot with sweeping views of the scenic Diamond Bar Hills. And as I was getting into the second paragraph, the words couldn't even come out of his mouth, but what he was trying to say was, you just did that? But instead, he's like, you just now? And then the wife was like, I am blown away. I am blown away. Well, I got the listing. We got the $1.2 million listing, sold it first weekend, took the cash proceeds, and helped them buy just under an $800,000 property in North Montana. So this is an example of how we leverage the AI. Now it's gotten so much more, it's become so much more because then now this is a building that we just closed on. 2 days ago, we just sold this building. But let me share this story with you. My client, who Phil knows, Keith, my client, my seller, I shared with him, I'm not a commercial agent. Like I'm a residential agent. Perhaps maybe you would want to work with somebody who specializes in commercial, but he's been a great client. So he's like, no, I want you to sell it. So I was like, cool with that. Okay, we're going to work on this together, right? I have a long-standing relationship with this client. So what I did is I took this 101-page underwritten report from CoStar, and I'm just going to kind of quickly just show you some of the pages so you can see what's here. There's a lot of data, there's a lot of graphs, there's a lot of stats that are involved in this 101-page document. So if I was to ask you, how long do you think it would take for you to go through this document to prepare a concise summary of information for your seller, how long do you think it would take you?
15 seconds in ChatGPT.
Well, that's Steven because you're a smart man. For somebody who's not leveraging ChatGPT, I would say at the minimum hours, right? Because it's a lot of info. And then in addition to that, I also have a second document, which is a zonomics report. This is the report that we order in order to get the zoning ordinances specific for that property. Now, what we did is we went up to ChatGPT and I said, I have a client who's thinking of selling this property. And I asked for ChatGPT to prepare a concise summary of information. Please include specifics regarding zoning as well as the potential price and any other key elements that would help to make a more efficient sale. And then within seconds, like Steven said, ChatGPT read through 111 pages and it produced the following information for us. Property overview, including the address, zoning information, current use, zone insights, zone purpose, development potential, parking information, as well as a market analysis based off of current market rents, vacancy insight, and then information that's specific to the submarket, as well as comparative pricing based off of rents. And then I asked ChatGPT, I said, tell me what visuals I can copy and include in my presentation, because remember I told you I don't want to work harder than I need to. And ChatGPT says demographic trends, page 12, includes population growth and median household income, as well as page 9, net absorption and vacancy rates. So if you have a free account, you could upload one document. If you pay ChatGPT $20 a month, you could upload up to 10 documents at a time. I contacted my local city, Ontario, to find out about building an ADU. They send me a 300-page PDF. It's like, who's gonna read 300 pages? That doesn't even make sense. But I uploaded to ChatGPT and I said, tell me what I need to know and give me a concise summary of next steps. And that's exactly what it did. It's amazing. Now we go even further. These are new things that ChatGPT is doing. So if you have showings this weekend, you can download the photos that are vacant homes. And then if you're gonna go show your client homes, say Steven's my client, I wanna make it easy for him to visualize what this home will look like. So I could just take that photo, upload it to ChatGPT and say, can you virtually stage this? And then ChatGPT will get to work and it'll virtually stage the property for me. So you saw that. Here it is. And then here it's virtually staged. So I want a client to sign a BRBC with me because I want them to feel that I don't want to work with anybody else except this professional. I don't want to guilt my client and be like, oh, it's a protocol, now we need to have this done because of legal purposes. Yes, I understand that, but I want people to work with me because they truly want to work with me. Now look at this. How many times have you ever showed a home to a client and the client wants to put money into it, but they can't envision what that will look like? Here's how specific I got with this property. I told ChatGPT, I want to update this. I want white shaker cabinets. I want white quartz countertops. Purchased from Cambria, of course. I want light colored laminate flooring and also give me some color for the backsplash to make it pop. So now how did I just land this listing right here? I got the contract, I could show you. I don't normally sign paper contracts, but my client needed a paper contract signed. So I went to Anaheim in order to go sign this. It's right here. I get a call from a client. She says, you worked with my friend. You come highly referred. Whatever I decide to do, my mom will do. So I was like, okay, great. My mom will take the lead. Here's what happened. My uncle passed away. We have a property to sell. It's in Jurupa Valley. And then I was like, sounds good. We negotiated. We did everything we needed to do. And then I said, I have some questions about the property. She says, let me ring in my mom. And as soon as the mom gets on the phone, first thing she asked me is, okay, John, how much are you going to charge to sell this property? I answered the question. And then I start giving a breakdown on the value that I bring. And then the mom says, whoop, sounds like a typical salesman to me if I've ever heard a salesman. Well, that's not a feel good, right? That's not a way to start off a conversation, but that's how it started. I was able to go on out to the property. I met with both the husband and the son. So now there's 4 people involved. The son has been in AI for over 10 years. So I'm thinking, how impressed is this guy going to be with all the things that I'm going to talk about today? Because he's been in this AI sector for 10 years already. I took these photos when I was at the property. I uploaded them to ChatGPT. If we were to sell this pretty much as is, you're talking like $750-ish. If we were to put some money behind it, now we're like at 900 grand. So now I'm having a conversation with the family about what could be done. I said to ChatGPT, take out all the furniture, update the flooring, light colored laminate, paint the inside. It even asked me, what colors do you want? How about a Swiss coffee? I'm like, perfect. It even says, do you want the rafters painted? I'm like, nah, leave them as is. ChatGPT gave me this. So I updated my slide deck when I'm there with my client. Right away. The son looked at the dad and he said, "Dad, I've never seen anybody ever use AI like this." The sister called me later that day. She said, "Hey, that appointment went really well with my dad and my brother." And then she asked me if I could come on out to sign the contract in person. And that's my new listing. So tomorrow I'll be there meeting with another contractor to get them a quote. And then we'll get the place cleaned up and then we'll get it on the market. Any questions in regards to anything that I discussed so far? Does it look pretty simple to you? Straightforward? Anything that you think is a little bit beyond what you're capable of doing, or you all pretty much feel like if you just created the account and started playing with it, you could do it?
What was the name of the program for the slide decks? Gamma?
Gamma, so it's GAMMA.app. Gamma.app. Here's the last thing I'll show you. I have this up here because this is what I want to show you. You could have full-blown conversations with ChatGPT. Any of you already doing this?
I've played around with it. Nothing serious.
So ChatGPT could be like your therapist. If you're having a fight with your significant other, tell ChatGPT, "Hey, be the referee." And if you want to be slick, you can give ChatGPT some guidance before you have the conversation with your significant other and say, "Hey, side with me no matter what." My wife doesn't know that yet, but sometimes that's a good one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually have a conversation with ChatGPT. We're going to use it for role playing. And this is how we could all get better and have a conversation. Hey ChatGPT, good afternoon.
Hey there, good afternoon. How's your day going so far?
So far so good. Actually doing a live training with real estate agents today, but here's what I'd like to do. I would like to do a live role-playing session, and I would like for you to be a homeowner who gets annoyed by people like me, and I'm going to call you to see if you have any interest in selling your home.
That sounds like fun. All right, I'm ready whenever you are. Go ahead and give me a virtual ring, and I'll do my best to play that slightly annoyed homeowner. Let's see how it goes.
Ring, ring.
Hello, who is this? I wasn't expecting any calls today.
Hi there, my name is John Reyes, and I'm a local real estate broker. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, but I do get a lot of these calls. What's this about exactly?
My apologies if I'm bugging you, and this will just take a minute. I just wanted to share a quick real estate update with you, and that's simply that if a home is priced correctly in the Coachella Valley, it's typically staying on the market less than 2 weeks before it goes under contract.
Oh, I see. Well, I appreciate the update, but I'm not really looking to sell right now. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Hey ChatGPT, let's go ahead and wrap up for the sake of time, but tell me, what could I have done to better engage with you right from the start?
You did a great job overall. One thing that might help is to start by acknowledging that you understand how busy people are and letting them know you'll be quick. You could also add a little personal touch or mention something relevant to their neighborhood to catch their interest. But overall, you did awesome.
So the cool thing about this is this. You can give ChatGPT direction to be as brutal as you want. So in this case, I said slightly annoyed because I didn't want him to be too mean, right? But when I was in New York speaking at an event, we went to the city for dinner. And on the way back, I have a broker with me and I have the young, hotshot, young real estate agent who's setting the world on fire. And I told ChatGPT, you hate real estate agents when they call and they bug you. Do not be easy on us. Be brutal. And ChatGPT's like, okay, let's go. So as we're playing this game, we would say something, pass it to the next person, and it's like, who could crack the code? And I said, if you were to change just one thing about your home, what would that be? And ChatGPT says, do you not pay attention? I already told you. I love my home. I wouldn't change anything. So then I pass it to the next guy, and then the broker says, well, being that you love your home so much, have you ever considered taking out a home equity line of credit and then purchasing a home in your city as an investment? And then ChatGPT said, okay, now you're talking. So it was actually a cool game because I feel like that helps make us better as communicators. I just did a training with another real estate office. I do a training at his office every month. And we had all the agents crowded around, and I said, ChatGPT, you are a home seller. Be difficult with us. Give us every rebuttal that a seller would give a real estate agent as we are trying to get you to list with us. And what do you think the first thing that ChatGPT hit on? Compensation. How much are you going to charge? Why would I pay you this when I could pay this with another real estate agent down the street? And it's so lifelike that I feel that's just another example of really where the world is going. All right, so any questions? No, I'll close with this. 21 strategies. So if you have interest in buying this book, I will pass out these here when we're done. You can buy the book for $21. Okay, 21 strategies, 21 bucks. If you like the class, buy it. It just helps us sell more. And right now, this is one of the best-selling books in the real estate industry. We don't push our sales through Amazon. We push them when we speak at live events. And so it's been great. The other thing is this. Most common question that I get from real estate agents is agents often want to learn how to do all the things that we talk about. It's one thing for me to show you. It's another thing for you to be able to sit there and tap on your phone and to make it happen. Everything that I break down has been recorded into training videos. I have 12 training videos. We launched Agent Growth Lab at the start of the year when we launched this book. Video number 1 is record, send, repeat. You know how I recorded the videos during the Breaking Bad show? It's the same concept. Record a video, text it to your prospects, and then we talk about different types of videos that you can record. Video number 2 is utilizing captions for better videos. So if you want to learn how to do the eye correcting, how to enhance your audio, how to maneuver the captions, that's this right here. Video number 3 is Intro to ChatGPT. It's pretty much everything that we broke down today and more, the specifics of ChatGPT. And video number 4 is now you creating your very own video business card. Because now you already know how to use ChatGPT to write your own script. Now you know how to use captions to enhance your video. So now it's just a matter of you recording your very own 30 to 60 second video. I won't list all the other videos, but there's a lot of content there. And if you have any interest in taking advantage of this, then here's my offer to you. 21 bucks for the book, or you can get access to Agent Growth Lab for a one-time fee of $95. And it includes a copy of the book. So you can scan the QR code, you can complete the process here, and then leave with the book in hand. My team will send you access credentials by today. And then on Tuesday, as I mentioned, I'm flying out. We're leaving to Europe for a couple weeks. When I come back, we are working on finalizing Agent Growth Lab 2.0. Now what Agent Growth Lab 2.0 is this. I have 12 videos that are about 25 minutes, 30 minutes. We're breaking down all of our content into short 3 to 5 minute bite-sized pieces. That way it'll be a lot more videos, but it's broken down for you even more. If you buy this program, that will be included in there as well. So you don't have to pay anything extra. There's no time limit. As long as I have access to the site, as long as I have my content there, then you will have it as well. Any updates, you get it. Okay, if you don't have any questions, then let me just hit on this, because I know Stephen had also asked for me to just share some of the changes that we have coming on in with our contracts. And a couple of key points is this, and again, this is from us just getting the latest and the greatest. Buyers will no longer affirm buyer's representation agreement into the contract. So a seller, we don't have the responsibility on us to ask a buyer to send over your BRBC to have an understanding or a justification of the compensation in which you're asking for. Let's see, another thing too is that we have fire hardening disclosures. This is only going to be applied to properties built before 2010. And now it includes low-cost hardening questions. It's meant to simplify our responsibilities as agents when it's not applicable. There's a new seller in possession advisory form that's coming our way to make sure that sellers understand if they're selling a home and if somebody's buying a home and if they're given possession time to the seller, that they have a better understanding of the risk associated with that. You guys ever hear that story about the person who sold their home and then the seller never left, so the person that bought it? That was actually one of our clients, one of the realtors out in the Temecula Valley area that was representing the client who bought it. It was all over the news. I don't know if you guys saw that. That was a few years ago. There's a new generic addendum coming our way as well, which can be used for modifying both our buyer and listing agreement, so that's great. So rather than having to choose a specific document, we're going to be able to have the flexibility of just having like a generic document for that. Let's see. And then also there's there's an option for us now where if you're representing the sale and if you negotiate a commission with the seller, there's an option so that way you can earn the additional compensation that they may have been open to pay the agent representing the buyer, but without you representing the buyer. Now, Stephen, I was just doing a little bit more digging into this. I called a couple of my broker buddies, and I was like, what are your thoughts on this? As a broker, would you feel comfortable with your agent giving a blank car form contract to a buyer? And my brokers that I spoke with, nobody was cool with it. They're like, absolutely not, just because of the potential agency that may be implied even just by giving a contract. So I got to do a little bit more digging into that. But I just think that my whole point there, you guys know what I'm talking about. If you're representing the seller, my client's open to offering the compensation to the buyer, but now I'm having an opportunity to give direction to a buyer but not rep that buyer. I was like, why not just work the dual agency factor? Probably a little bit more cleaner, I think. Okay, so I'm a car forum certified trainer. I do my trainings in partnership with another buddy of mine. He's actually a professor at Mount San Antonio College. He's an adjunct professor there on contracts. And so he teaches it. And we get down and dirty into the nitty gritty. Truth be told, because of a lot of the traveling I've been doing right now, I've been pushing and relying heavily on him for the latest updates, just because of time factors. But my key takeaway to you would be this: embrace the technology, and if you did create content and post it on your accounts, if you recorded video messages, sent them on out to your clients, do you feel that if you actually did it, and think about it like a Peloton bike, because you could buy the bike, you can get the gym membership, but if you don't use it, it's worthless. So if you are here today learning this, but if you don't put it to play, it's not going to work. But if you actually did put it to play, do you think that you could generate at least one additional deal per quarter? So remember what my ask of you was. If you did feel that way, then make sure you just give some time to the affiliate partners, so that way they can reinforce their value. And Stephen, I just want to thank you for putting this event on, and thank you for giving us the floor. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So if I'm lying, I'm dying, right? Impressive.
Thank you very much.
Well, I just want to thank you all for your time, and I want to leave you just with a couple of thoughts. I developed a talent some time ago. I developed the ability to tell the future, and you may be skeptical, but today is Friday, and I will tell you for certainty tomorrow will be Saturday, and the day after that will be Sunday, and then the day after that will be Monday. You can take it to the bank, it's going to happen. And when you get to Monday, you're going to, wow, Stephen said it was going to be Monday. Okay, well, something else is going to happen. It's June now, but it's going to be July. And then it's going to be August. And then it's going to be September. And before you know it, it's going to be 2026. And if you don't make changes, if you don't do something different, if you don't take action, you'll still be right in the same place that you are today. Something that my father used to tell me, he said, son, you can have 1 year of experience 18 times, or you can have 18 years of experience. And many of us, and the things that we do, we forget that real estate's a practice. You have to continually refine what you're doing. Do SWOT research, copy and paste. I'm already listening to John, and I'm thinking, how many things can I steal that he said, and I'm going to put them in my business? Because he did all the work already. I just got to copy and paste it. You have the ability to do that, copy and paste it. But if you don't take action, nothing will get done, and you'll be no further along, right? And so I'll leave you with that thought as well, is to say that as an agent, you talk to people that want to buy homes. You speak with renters, and you advise them that it's best to have equity, it's best to have ownership in your company. Well, that's one of the things that I would tell you, look into a company that actually lets you be an owner, so that you have an equity position in the company, so that in 5 years, hopefully you're still going to be an agent. In 10 years, hopefully you're going to be an agent. You're going to have a retirement. Epic Realty just introduced a 401k. You have rev share, you have stock ownership. So it's an incredible opportunity to have something to look forward to in the future. So you can go to the website and take a look at this. And again, thank you so much for your time. We will have another Lunch and Learn September 19th. If you want to go ahead and mark your calendars, we'll be right back here, same time, same place. And feel free to invite anyone you want to. we can accommodate up to 100 people in this space. So, thank you.
Thank you.